Okay, this is my practice for Project 7, and I will be telling the story of the Iron Knife, as recounted from David Kalakua's The Legends and Myths of Hawaii, Fables and Folklore of a Strange People. It is one of the few printed versions of a story that the Hawaiian people have told orally for almost 800 years. And it is the story of how the first metal weapon found its way to the Hawaiian Islands. So, many years ago, there was born to a low-ranking Hawaiian noble family a son, and they named him Kualu. And shortly after his birth, an unfortunate accident befell his parents, and Kualu was orphaned. But, due to a custom known as hanai that was practiced among the Hawaiian nobility, Kualu was adopted by a high-ranking priestess named Walia. She was a trusted advisor to the king of Hawaii, and it was through her position that Kualu was able to rise high in the court and become captain of the guard. He also fell in love with the king's daughter, the Princess Kapapalimu. Now, she had been jealously guarded by her father, the king, her entire life because he believed there was no one in his court or in all the Hawaiian Islands whose rank or valor was befitting that of his daughter. So Kualu was declared an inappropriate and ineligible suitor. Despondent, he turns to his adopted mother Walia for advice. And though she feels that Kualu has risen high enough given his birth, she consults her auguries, and she has a vision. And she goes to Kualu and she tells him, "The king will soon go to war. You must follow him, because this is the key to your happiness." She tells him that he will find a great and powerful new weapon. A weapon that is harder than bone or seasoned wood, and whose blade defiantly throws back the rays of the sun. Kualu, trusting in Walia's advice, though still a little skeptical, agrees. Now that night, a great storm comes to the Hawaiian Islands, and in its wake, several fishermen see a bizarre capsized vessel floating towards the coast. And from the wreckage, they pull one survivor, the captain, a Japanese merchant. And the only thing he was able to salvage was his sword, a metal blade attached to his hip. The fishermen instantly believe this is a gift from the gods, a great and powerful weapon of war, and that whatever arm wields it will be unconquerable. And they take him back to their people and to the court of their king, the Maui. And rumor spreads. And sure enough, the king hears this rumor and decides he will go to war against the Maui. And Kualu, heeding his mother's advice, follows. And in the battle, sure enough, Kualu and the captain come face to face. And Kualu sees the iron knife, this great and mysterious metal blade that everyone has been talking about. And he strikes it from the hand of the captain and slits his throat with his wooden spear. Unsure of what to do with the knife, he buries it and marks it with a great rock, and he flees the battle. And he returns to Walia and he says, "I found what you were talking about. The key is here." She says, "What have you done with it?" And he says, "I hid it." She says, "Good, take me to it." So they return to the battlefield, now empty, and they dig up the knife. And Walia says, "This is indeed the weapon I foresaw. And it will give great power to whoever holds it. They will be unconquerable. But it is also very dangerous and could corrupt whoever uses it. So, against Kualu's wishes, Walia takes the knife and she hides it in a special cave among the black rocks. It is then learned that the battle did not go well. The king of Hawaii's army was slaughtered, and he himself was captured by the king of the Maui. Kualu is the only survivor. He goes to the court to inform the queen of the loss, and she declares him a coward and a traitor for leaving her husband, his king, behind. And so she sends him into exile, banished from the court. When Walia hears this, she is despondent. She tears her clothes and rips her hair and pounds the ground at the loss of her foster son. And so she goes to the court and presents herself to the queen. And she says to the queen, "Where is this iron knife?" And suddenly all the court is at attention. For by now, of course, they have heard the rumors of this iron knife. And Walia tells them, "It came here and was lost. But he who possesses it will be chief of chiefs. Has it been hidden away in the earth? Has it been swallowed by the sea, or cast among the stars? Will the wind from the tide unveil it? Will the voice of the mountain speak of it?" Familiar with Walia's strange ways, the court concludes that she knows where the iron knife is. And so the queen demands that it be presented, so that she may send a great warrior to rescue her husband, the king. But Walia refuses to give up the knife, and instead says she and she alone must negotiate with the king of Maui. And so Walia goes to the king of Maui's court, and she offers to give him the great iron knife, for even the Maui know of its great power. Only, she says, if the king of Maui will agree to release the king of Hawaii, and if the king of Hawaii will promise to both pardon Kualu and give him his daughter's hand in marriage. Both kings agree, and so Walia comes with the king of Hawaii back to his court. The king, true to his word, then pardons Kualu. Walia goes off into exile, where she finds her son and tells him he can come back to court, and that he is, to his great joy, now engaged to the princess. All he must do is bring the iron knife to the king of Maui, as was his mother's agreement. So Walia uncovers the knife from the hidden cave in the black rocks, gives it to Kualu, and sends him off to the court of the king of Maui. But when Kualu reaches there, he cannot part with the knife. It is too powerful, he says, to relinquish. Through it, he has already attained pardon and an engagement to the woman of his dreams. What else could he attain if he were to keep it? And so, Kualu strikes down the king of the Maui, slitting his throat. He returns to his village, returns to his home, and tells Walia what he has done. She cries, weeps, her tears mixing with the blood dripping from the knife. "What have you done, my son? When the king of Hawaii hears of this, he will not stand to let you live. You still possess the iron knife. It is too dangerous." And so Kualu, sensing his mother's pain, hands her the knife, all the while plotting how to get it back. Walia, taking the knife, has another vision. In it, she sees her son Kualu marrying the princess, murdering the king, taking the throne, and ruling as a tyrant. With despair in her heart, Walia sits her son down in his favorite chair, has him face the sea, and quietly but decidedly slits Koalu's throat. And what became of the iron knife after that? Has it been hidden away in the earth, or swallowed by the sea, or cast among the stars? The wind of the tide is soft, and the voice of the mountain is silent.